All right, so not a great day for San Diego State basketball. Not what we wanted to see. San Diego State drops this one to Boise State 62-52. Magoon did not play in this game. We'll see what the committee thinks of this. San Diego State, after this loss, they are, I believe, 21-9 now, because I think they had 8 losses going in, so this hasn't updated yet. But yeah, this one stinks. I mean, going in, you had the ESPN bracketology, and then Jerry Palm with CBS Sports. They kept showing that on the broadcast of the Aztecs being last 4 in. So bubble, win this game, and you'll be in the tournament. And they weren't able to do it. Now, again, with no Magoon Guath, that's big. Is the committee going to end up looking at San Diego State and be, hey, they'll get Magoon Guath back in March, so we'll put him in? That's the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. I know he doesn't score a ton of points, but he has a huge impact on this team. And did San Diego State shoot well enough today? No. But if you have some blocks from Magoon Guath and the Aztecs shoot a little bit better, we could be looking at a different game today. But the ifs don't matter because this is the final score. But I'm trying to hold on to that. There's a couple of things. Like, could they look at it as, like I said, Magoon Guath coming back? Okay, this is a stronger team. They deserve that version of the team is a tournament team. Them versus Boise State, I don't think it should be down to them versus Boise State. I think both teams are tournament caliber teams. But Jeff Borzello, I think he works for ESPN. Yeah. ESPN College Basketball Insider. He tweeted recently after this game, San Diego State was in a precarious position before today. Boise State was on the outside looking in. In a purely head-to-head comparison, San Diego State won 2 of 3 head-to-head against Boise. Boise beat Clemson and St. Mary's. Those are their best wins, I think, on the year. San Diego State's best wins, Houston, who could be a number 1 seed in the tournament, one of the best teams in the country, still. And they were, at the time San Diego State beat them, on a neutral floor. It's not like it was at Viejas. And they beat Creighton. And they beat UCSD as well. And UCSD does count. I mean, UCSD is having a good season, really good season. And Creighton is still, I think, a ranked team. It's still a quality Big East opponent that they beat. I believe with one of their big men healthy and playing as well, which he wasn't later in that tournament. I'm blanking on his name, so I apologize for that. But look, with this loss, if San Diego State doesn't get in, I'm going to be disappointed in that. I still think they're a tournament team. I think that, yes, losing that double-digit lead, I don't think it was just double digits. I think it was an 18-point lead at home against Utah State. Losing that lead, losing here today, I think they lost to UNLV a couple of times. Yeah, not great. It would have been awesome to beat Gonzaga, but that was really early in the season. It's Gonzaga, and they were without Reese Waters, and that was when we were thinking maybe Reese Waters would return, but that ended up being the Aztecs, I think, at full strength, unless I'm forgetting an injury that was happening at the time. I'm talking full strength with the guys that have been here and been playing most of the season. But yeah, these quality wins against Houston and Creighton, I think, should really help. But what could hurt is the committee could say, well, that was a long time ago in this season. That was at the beginning of the season. That was the Las Vegas tournament. I think that was around Thanksgiving. That's a long time ago. It's March 13th. So how heavy should we weigh that? Now, San Diego State can't control when they play Houston. What could go for San Diego State there is, like, Houston has been a top team the entire year. It's not like they weren't great at the beginning of the year or they weren't thought of highly at the beginning of the year and now they're ranked high. They were high and now they are high still. So I think that should really help. And then overall, their record, a 21-8 regular season record, 14-6 in the Mountain West. And the Mountain West has some quality teams in there, and there's obviously some things that, and I know this isn't numbers, but the elevation that San Diego State has to deal with, the lack of financial resources that they have in comparison to some other programs. What I'm talking about really is, like, they can't charter everywhere like some other schools do. That's a competitive disadvantage. Will the committee look at that? No, I doubt that. But as a San Diego State fan, I'm trying to make a case here for San Diego State, and I think you can make it with some of the wins that they have. When they're playing with Magoon Guath, they are a different team than when they're playing without Magoon Guath. It's a big impact. They've had 3 losses in the last 6 games, and Magoon got hurt that Utah State game, right? So they're just a different team. You go before that Utah State game, they had won, 7 of their previous 8 games, getting back to that January 22nd game at Air Force, that overtime win, with Magoon on the team, with him playing and him healthy. It's just a different team. So if he is healthy, I hope the committee would take that into account and not just look at how they played here today without Magoon. He did dress, but he just didn't enter the game. Disappointing. I think we need to hit on at least not just the tournament and their possibility there, but what happened today in this game. Miles Heide started this game, but didn't have a huge impact. BJ Davis, I think, was a big reason why San Diego State lost this game. If you look at the shots, he went 2 for 11. He went 2 of 8 from 3. He missed both of his free throws, so that really hurt. Miles Byrd 1 for 6. He did have some really good hustle plays. There was that. We know what he can give there. But for Miles Byrd, you're going to need more than 5 points. One guy carried this team today scoring-wise, and that was Nick Boyd with 20. You got to have more production there from BJ Davis, especially from Miles Byrd. It's Nick Boyd and Miles Byrd. That's where you're probably expecting your scoring to be coming from. So those guys to combine for 25 and one of them scored 5 is not good enough. And Miles Byrd would tell you that. So really disappointing watching this today. It was close for a while, and then, last minute there, you could tell they weren't going to win. Boise, it's a quality opponent. This isn't like they lost to the worst team in the Mountain West Conference, so we can, if you're trying to, go glass half full again, like I am in this video here, you can go that way. Man, their coach is so whiny. Holy cow. I mean, geez Louise. Just looked like a baby out there. Maybe that's just me, but that was annoying. But they got the win, so really, who cares? But yeah, just looking at San Diego State's wins this year. So UC San Diego, I hope that doesn't penalize. I hope the Aztecs aren't penalized by UCSD. And what I mean by that is because that was the first game of the season that they beat UCSD. That was before they were this good. But I hope that doesn't affect it. Affect the resume, I should say. The win against Creighton, 21st ranked team in the nation. It would have been nice to beat Oregon. But yeah, that Houston win hopefully will be big for San Diego State on their resume. USD, that win means nothing. USD is having a really hard year with Steve Lavin as the head coach. Utah State 67-66. That hurts. Losing that game. Getting crushed at New Mexico. Going into this year, I didn't think the Mountain West was going to get as many teams in as last year. They weren't going to be as strong as last year. So I don't think San Diego State's going to get super helped out by, their conference schedule. But the out-of-conference schedule hopefully would have helped them because they take on anyone. It's other teams that don't really want to play San Diego State. But yeah, both of those losses to Utah State are going to hurt, especially that big lead that they lost at home. It was good that they were able to beat New Mexico at Viejas, beat Wyoming, beat Nevada on a senior. If they would have lost to Nevada and then they would have lost here, they're not making the tournament. So that was a big win. Although Nevada's not they're not ranked or anything, but it's going to be interesting. Long wait. I'll be pissed off if San Diego State doesn't make it. I think with the record they have, with some of the wins that they have, with the talent, some of these games that they have played, like they have shown, like, man, yep, they could make a run in March. They could win a couple of games. But then also there are games where it's like, oh yeah, inconsistent. They get a decent lead, big lead, and then it shrinks, or they end up losing the big lead, like against Utah State. So we shall see. It has been a roller coaster of a season. They've been a fun watch at times. There were some highlight plays in this game. I think it was Nick Boyd, the pass off the backboard to Farrell Compton. I think it was Compton. Highlight, Miles Bird going into the stands with the behind the back pass. And then the 3-point play, I think, I want to say it was Wayne McKinney. There were some really fun plays, and it's been a fun team to watch, and it will suck if they can't even get a shot in March Madness, but Dutch will probably say, like, while he will advocate for what has happened this year, like their track record, and that they don't duck anyone in the non-conference play, and that should be in favor for San Diego State, he will say that, well, we should have played better. We should have not lost to Utah State. We should have shot better today. And that's all true. That's the case.